We on? All right. Hi everybody, welcome to Willie's American Guitars Acoustic Room, where I'm going to do a video right now on a 1946 Gibson J-45. So first off, before we begin, if you're watching this on Facebook, you're going to notice at the bottom over here a little symbol that's that, okay? And if you press on that symbol, you're going to get the option to convert this to HD, high def. Otherwise, it's a little grainy, it's a low def video, but your choice. But find that right about there and then press it and you're going to see a high def option. And all of a sudden, I get much younger and the guitar gets much better. The J-45 was priced at $45. In the 30s, Gibson really started jumping on the flat top wagon. Martin had been making flat tops forever, since that's all they did is make flat tops. Gibson really started out as a Gibson mandolin company. They were called the Gibson Mandolin Company for decades. And it wasn't until later, towards World War II, that they started making flat tops with any seriousness, seeing that Martin was really killing it. Gibson made arch tops. They made big arch tops, they made banjos, and they made mandolins before the war. And that's what made them famous, because that, of course, was what music was. In the 30s, country music really started coming along, and the whole idea of a flat top really followed suit with movies about country superstars, some of which were gigantic superstars. So this is where this came from. The J Jumbo 35 came out in the 30s, but by 1942 they needed to deal with the fact that it was 35 bucks and they couldn't really make it anymore. The J35 you'll always see has a white silk screen, which is just painted. The logo is painted on. But when you're looking at the early Gibsons, that's actually a decal that's on the headstock. And that scripted logo decal is a symbol of a pre-war guitar. So earlier they put, in 1942, they put a banner here. And the banner said, "Only Gibson is good enough." It's a story worth looking up, but the funny thing is, Epiphone then came out with guitars that said, "When good enough isn't enough." And mocking their the banner, they then removed the banner and left this scripted logo. So these come around about 46. Early 46 will be a banner, late 46 will have this script. By 48, they've had a much more modern logo. This guitar also, if you look, has a tapered headstock. It is tapered here and wider here. And that's a big thing that, as far as we know, only Collings does that. And that brings, as we've told you before, the strings down at a greater angle and gives you a little more precision on the string. The string reflects off better with this. So it's a small feature. There's also more mass here around the nut. And basically, you get volume. That's what these guitars are known for. These are legendary guitars. A script logo J-45 is something that's really highly sought after. In this time period, Gibson was only making like 5,000 instruments a year total. That includes everything: ukuleles, banjos, mandolins, arch tops. And they were just barely making electric guitars at that time. The J-45 we have here came to us a long time ago. Victor Krauss, Alison Krauss's brother, who plays with Bill Frisell and Lyle Lovett. He plays stand-up bass with Lyle Lovett. He's also a piano player, guitar player, songwriter, and a super sweet guy. We miss him. We like to see him more often. But Victor Krauss created this, and he said, "I have this mahogany-topped J-45. During the war, they didn't use as much spruce. They put on mahogany tops. Mahogany tops are used a lot by Martin and have been. Mahogany tops are not that unusual, but this is kind of a rarity. Victor told me that the bracing had been changed. All of the bracing underneath the guitar had been changed, and really crudely. I don't know where he got it. I think he said he got it overseas, but somebody had replaced the bracing in the top. And all these little wood braces were, here, allow me to do this really quick. They were like this. They were squared. Now, what we did, and we've had this in our shop for almost 2 years because it takes a long time. We took the back off. We had some Adirondack spruce braces, and what we do is carve these squarey, stupid braces down as much as we can. So these braces are now less mass, and then you can even cut them down farther so you have these tapered braces. And why would you do that? For better volume. These guitars are also made very thin, same as Martin's. When you get into pre-war instruments, old violins always are very thin back and sides. The guitars themselves are almost coming apart. These guitars are built under tension, meaning the tops are just slightly wider and they bend it in and place it. Both the top and the back have a slight curve as they are built under tension. But to be clear, we took off the back, we used Adirondack braces carved correctly, and those Adirondack braces are all applied with hide glue. Hide glue is denser. Hide glue is a $1,500 upcharge from most of the manufacturers. $1,500. Hide glue is this stinky, obnoxious stuff you cook in a kettle and you apply hot, and you better get it right. Not many people are comfortable with working with hide glue. We can. So here we have nice, there's no cracks in the headstock. There's 2 giant cracks back here. The back has been taken off and we rebraced it. Now I'm going to take a second right here and insert a video I took of some of these braces so you can see what it is. And this has all been correctly braced. We've seen about, I don't know, 100 of these. And over the past 35 years, we love script logo J-45s, and it's funny, they keep rising in value. We put, well, the work we did is about $3,000 worth of work and took almost 2 years. So we could bring this to you and bring it back to life. Now this will get a lot less than another completely straight J-45, but it is done correctly. We would stand behind it. I have seen some obnoxious work done in this town where people, one guy brought me a guitar to look at because he was going to take it in trade on a car, and the braces were just a joke. But what you get out of this with the thin sides, the mahogany top gives you a little more mid-range crunch. Loud is its middle name. It has a tall saddle. It's got a bridge that goes up a little bit. And here's something for you guys that I bet very few people notice. You see the asymmetrical? This bout is different than this bout. This bout is actually sits a little above this bout. You go look at other script logo J-45s and you're going to see that. Isn't that weird? It's true of these being handmade guitars. And you know, these at $45, that was quite a lot of money. They were called a working man's guitar. They're fairly simple. There's just dots, 1 layer of binding, a simple pick guard. These came with a smaller bridge. This bridge had already had a bunch of other bridges on it. We replaced this bridge, and we really did a lot of great work on this guitar. The back is all satiny, And here's one of the reasons why. I'm going to show you this case. The case has these 2 feet down here that were reinstalled, and if you look, there's actually metal there. Now, I don't see many scratches back there, so it had some sort of cloth over that, and you should buy this. When you buy this, you can do that a better job. You can remove those feet and replace it with some cloth. And we won't get into that right now because that's a thing for another day. But it has this nice original brown case. And anytime you can buy a script logo Gibson, you should. Every decade we say these will go up in value, and guess what? They do. They go up 10 to 15% a year. And that's just its history. We don't predict the future, but wow. It's all about the wood. That's why guys bought Gibson. They had high quality woods from old forest, and it's mature giant trees, some 700-year-old mahogany trees that are now gone. Gone. And they're aged correctly too. This wood sat in their lumber yards for sometimes 20 years. Now things are kiln dried. They had some kilns to finish off things and make sure they were good, but this is all about the wood and seasoning the wood correctly and bracing it. This is all about the history. I don't know. That sounds like the end of the video. Let's end it here. And thank you very much. Make sure to like us on Facebook, and come on in and try this out.